Sports Akademiks, check it out, because in the blink of an eye, man, a snap of a finger, that's how fast your credibility could go. Now, you see that guy, Martin Shkreli. I tried to play the devil's advocate at first when reporting on him, also did my due diligence, because, listen, man, I didn't want to be biased, okay? So I did not only point out the attributes about him that a lot of people said were negative, because I didn't want to be a uninformed bandwagonist. So I kind of pointed out things that were positive or kind of cool or tolerable about him as well. But sooner or later, man, as we all know, right, the fake always gets exposed. Now, you could act like the Shane McMahon of hip-hop. You could hypnotize a majority of the hip-hop audience with your net worth, reportedly, and your fancy purchase of the rap album from the Wu-Tang Clan for $2 million. But sooner or later, if what you are is really, and in just all plain terms, straightforward, if all you are is a wannabe, whitewashed, pale coon, okay, a self-aggrandizing smartass, it'll eventually bleed through. Okay, you see Martin Shkreli, man, he couldn't accept that his 15 minutes of fame was running out. It was done. It was over. Kaboot. Go back to where you came from. After the whole thing with him being ousted from a company, we haven't seen this motherfucker in an office ever. This nigga chills out playing the guitar on live stream. Come on now, we got to think about these things now. So here's the thing, right? He couldn't accept that his whole thing was about to be over, right? He bought Wu-Tang's album, and after he realized that his 15 minutes was running out, he said, I'm going to bail Bobby Shmurda out. Okay, of course, that didn't happen because he got arrested, and that's a legitimate excuse, so we gave him a pass. I mean, you can't bail out Bobby Shmurda when you might get booked your damn self. You might need that money to fund your own legal defense, so we gave him a pass. But as I said, his attention and his 5 minutes was running up. So what he did was, he basically pops back up. He started beefing with RZA and, of course, Ghostface. Even makes the most non-threatening goon video in history. Now, I don't want to use the word racist, okay, because I resent people who throw around the word lightly, but I must say that his knowledge of hip-hop, and from everything I could see, and the way how he acts, right, especially how he acts with the hip-hop culture or audience, it tells me that his perception of hip-hop is as stereotypical as any fucking racist. Meaning, you completely believe that just because you're flashing a lot of fucking money, which most people would dream about having it within hip-hop, and the fact that we all know, like, hip-hop's mantra is kind of like, yo, listen, get money, fuck bitches, right? You think just flashing money, right? Number two, talking above the heads of what you might consider to be the average hip-hop fan, because you guys can see the way how he talks, right? And you could tell at times, because he tries to talk over people's heads, right? Like, for example, and not only talk over people's heads, but also talk over people's pockets, okay? Like, you'll even hear him get really surprised when he's actually having an interview with Charlamagne, and Charlamagne from the Breakfast Club I'm talking about, and he mentions that, oh yeah, I've rubbed some shoulders with some exclusive hedge fund dudes too. He was flabbergasted, floored. He didn't think so. He thought he was talking to a bunch of dumb Negroes, okay? And a bunch of guys with no fucking connects, okay? Now, you even hear him, and we're going to see it because he sent out a bunch of tweets where he's talking about even Bitcoins. I think he just thinks niggas are dumb as fuck, man. I'm not going to lie. And as I'm saying, I'm not calling him racist, but I believe his perception of what hip-hop is, or the hip-hop fans, I think is stereotypical as fuck, okay? Now, let's recap what happened recently, right? So he offered Kanye West $10 million for his album, then tried to pull the, well, legally, they got to take my letter to their board of directors, okay? Keep in mind that this fuckboy doesn't even know who Kanye West is signed to, doesn't have the direct mail-in address for any of the fucking executives over there, right? And really, his only source of communication with Kanye West was telling him, could you hit me up via Twitter DM? Already a bunch of red flags, but we still believe this fuckboy, right? Now, anybody with common sense would have probably said, listen, Kanye might have even more money than you. The fuck are you talking about? Number two, just even knowing Kanye, even as a fan, you know Kanye is not even interested in your money, because Nike was offering Kanye a lot of fucking money, but he would not have creative control. And he said, fuck you to them. Actually, if you listen to his new album, he even rap talking about fuck the money. So we should know Kanye is not about the money. Thirdly, we should know that you're not negotiating with Kanye, and probably it's going to be a very complex process that's not going to be just solved quickly over Twitter. But anyway, right? His only communication was through Twitter DM, okay? Now, again, both of these guys' net worths are somewhere in the same estimate, so it's not like this guy has so much more money than Kanye. And I think you think most of these guys are broke, okay? Which is obviously not the case, right? So Kanye was basically, he extends the deadline for when he was going to drop the album because him and Chance the Rapper were working on a couple things, were adding a couple new tracks. And Martin Shkreli, the timely opportunist, he tweets out, got the album. Photo soon. Then he tweets out a picture with him holding a blank vinyl with the caption that says, another one. Okay, or at least another one on the t-shirt. Then he says, Beatles next. Also, not sure Kanye could perform on SNL tonight. Sorry, not sorry. Then he says, why do you think more tracks were added? Don't play yourself. Then he says, hey Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, bidding starts at 25 million. He's acting like he just got a fucking kilo of coke, okay, and he's trying to flip it. Now, he also says, my friend, let us have a discussion. He's talking about Drake, and I guess he wants to talk about Drake, maybe about Views from the Six. Then he says, hip-hop will have no major releases from 2016 and 2017, mark my words. P.S. Where's Carter 5? Then he says, while Kanye was performing on SNL, he comes back around and says, texted Ye, and he's only allowed to play the leaked half of the album, right? And after the album drops, because Kanye would not acknowledge a fuckboy like this, okay? This is obviously a desperate guy for attention. So Kanye does his thing is drop the album. I mean, Kanye probably never even heard of this guy. This is how Kanye's on a different planet, and this guy's obviously just a peon. I've been telling you, Kanye's just on some other shit. So he tweets out, as I said, he's trying to keep or play catch up with what Kanye's doing, because Kanye doesn't know who he is. So he says, who the fuck has my $50 million? I need my money back. This isn't a fucking joke. What the fuck? Then he says somebody, or someone actually, named Daquan, said he was Kanye's boy, and I signed the deal to buy Pablo and sent the Bitcoin. Call the police. This is bullshit. Now, he also says, why can't I hide my tweets and stay verified? I want to close my account, Twitter. Now, this guy is pretty much exposed to be a fake, a liar, a fraud. You know what I mean? This is just a guy who do anything for attention. And these are the type of guys that, man, as I said, I wouldn't even be so offended if he didn't come in on such a pretentious manner. And as I said, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I gave him the benefit of the doubt, but the way how I see him carry himself, and especially with this last incident, that he really thinks that the mass audience, especially in hip-hop, is a bunch of fucking dumbasses that will exalt anybody who reportedly or purports themselves to have a lot of money, it kind of tells me that this is the extremely stereotypical view you could have of hip-hop, which if you were really into hip-hop, you'd realize, man, hip-hop has a broad spectrum of people. There's some people that they are the exact stereotype, and then there's some, they're very highly intellectual. Yeah, I mean, everybody listens to hip-hop now, so I really don't think there's a stereotypical demographic, but he doesn't give a fuck. He's a guy who doesn't have a horse in a race, and as well, we notice that I believe he operates like he's doing a Dave Chappelle skit, so he's really operating like this is a long fucking skit, and we all know Dave Chappelle skits, while they were funny, it was all stereotypes. So this guy, man, he just gotta get the fuck on out of here, and listen, when he tweets from now on, please don't pay this guy any attention. He has nothing positive to say and just somebody who's been dying for attention. You could imagine he wasn't liked in the drug world. You could imagine he came in hip-hop at first hoping somebody would care or think about it in a positive light, and now he's realizing that's not the case, so he's like, okay, at least let me keep my 5 minutes of fame, because he's never had fame before, okay? And I get it, he does show up on all these shows nationally, but he never really had a fan base, okay? And I think when he sees a bunch of fans, and we do know hip-hop has a lot of young fans who they might just see that he's rich, or they might just think he had an easy path to success, so they're like, okay, let me just kind of follow this guy, where I could watch him and I could learn for myself. I mean, keep in mind, this guy's no different from, there's a fucking guy on Instagram. Actually, there's a bunch of them. You go on their fucking Instagram, they're showing off money every fucking day. They're buying this car, they're buying that. And then they'll be like, yo, buy my DVD just to see how you could be like me. Okay? And in reality, they're faking it. They're faking it, and they're playing upon the emotions of people who want money. Okay? And they act like there's some big secret here. But in reality, man, they're just trying to get your attention. And this guy, I don't care if it's for monetary reasons. Maybe that's not the case because he hasn't tried to sell us anything. But obviously he wants the attention for some reason. That's the reason he live streams every night. That's the reason why he keeps getting more and more people. Because he wants the attention. What will he do with the attention? I don't give a fuck. But once you lose your credibility, I got nothing more to say to you. And to be honest, man, I can't take nothing more you say serious. Okay? So we just got to tell this guy, get the fuck on out of here, all right? Get in the comment box, guys. Like, definitely subscribe. This guy faked like he bought Kanye's album. Of course he didn't. Of course he fucking didn't, okay? It's boy Akademiks, get in the comment box. Make sure you guys like, definitely subscribe. I'm out.